What's happening? This is Joshua Boetsi and you're watching Sporting Icons.
Right, good morning everyone. Hope you're all having a great Sunday. Bank holiday tomorrow, huh? Everyone's excited. Now, Daniel Jacobs and SAUL CANELO ALVAREZ for the WBA, WBC and IBF World Middleweight titles. And to be honest, this fight didn't really do anything that I didn't really expect. Although I know a lot of people, when we did the vote yesterday, most people thought that Canelo was going to win by robbery or win on points. Is it debatable in this fight? It's debatable. But I think that, to be honest with you, and it's just my opinion, that I think that the judges got it pretty much right in this fight, which is unusual for a Canelo fight. Let's be perfectly honest about it. As much of a fan I am of Canelo, I do see some screwing going on from time to time with the judges. But this one, I don't have any real complaints. I mean, I could probably, if I really wanted to nitpick, I could probably say 116 to 112 is a little bit wide. But I think the other two, 15 to 13, is pretty much spot on. But of course, if just one of those rounds had the judges give it to Jacobs rather than Canelo, of course, we're talking about a draw. So I can understand if some people saying this should be a draw and Canelo shouldn't have got the win, blah, blah, blah. I fully understand that. But at the same time, the way that this fight was going, I felt that Daniel Jacobs didn't get out of first gear until probably, the second half of the fight, to be honest. And had he just put his foot on the gas a little bit sooner, I think we could well be looking at a different result. And going by what the judges were looking at as well, I don't think that they would have had any kind of issues giving it to Daniel Jacobs. Anyway, I mean, that's my opinion. But either way, I think that Daniel Jacobs done nothing to be ashamed of in this fight whatsoever. As I said, I think that he started a little bit too late. Canelo was being Canelo. Canelo is an absolute elite of elite fighters. If anybody was to have him as pound for pound number one, I ain't going to argue with it. I'm really not. But for me, he's definitely up there somewhere. I don't really go into pound for pound. Don't really care for it too much. But I think that Canelo is just an elite athlete. He really, really is. And of course, they are talking about a Triple G rematch, a third fight between them two, potentially next. Although Bernard Hopkins, he did say that if Triple G wants Canelo, he needs to go get another belt. Well, that's not really what Oscar De La Hoya is saying, so we'll really have to wait and see anyway. I mean, Triple G is out in a couple of weeks anyway, so we'll have to wait and see how he gets on in that fight. But I think that Daniel Jacobs did well in this fight. He really did. I thought that he might use his size to his advantage a bit more than what he did. But I suppose looking at it from the outside as to what a taller fighter should do to a shorter fighter, it's easier said than done, especially when the shorter fighter is such an exceptional fighter. Absolutely exceptional. So, as I said, I think that Canelo, for me, yes, I think he won this fight only just. And in all honesty, I think him versus Demetrius Andrade, I think Demetrius Andrade is a fantastic fighter, but I think Canelo is going to have a bit too much for him. So I wouldn't be surprised if that fight was next and we see Canelo as undisputed middleweight world champion. But again, it's all speculation until it happens. Anything can happen. But as I said, I think that Canelo is one of these guys where he starts very, very good. He does fade as the fight goes on. And I think maybe that's what Daniel Jacobs was looking at, which is why he didn't really put his foot on the gas until probably the second half of the fight, because he wanted to get him into the deep water and then go for it. Which is, I understand why, against most other fighters, that would probably work, to be fair. But against Canelo, not really. I mean, Canelo's always got enough about him. He's got a very, very solid chin. In fact, I've only ever seen Canelo rocked once, and that was a long, long time ago. But he's got a very, very good chin, very good defense, very good counter-punching. So I think that may be the tactics for Canelo on this one. If that's what Daniel Jacobs was about, this wasn't quite right. He needed to nick a couple of the first half of the fight rounds. But anyway, I mean, as I said, Daniel Jacobs, nothing to be ashamed of whatsoever. I'll still love to see him take on Jamal Charlo, but I don't think Jamal Charlo would want that work at all. That's just my honest opinion. But I think that Canelo is just shown yet again, he is an elite of the elite athletes. Anyway, That's my thoughts. As I said, I have no issues with what the judges scored it. 115, 113 is about right. If anybody thought it should be a draw, again, I'm not going to argue with you at all on that one. But anyway, congratulations to Saul "CANELO ALVAREZ. He is a middleweight champion with an addition of the IBF belt now. Just needs one more for undisputed. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, you drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.